I'm here in the sanctuary. In fact, I'm in the room where we're running our winter provision, so you can see some camp beds around me. The sanctuary is also where our Outreach Plus team is based. We have 3 beds here, 3 bedrooms for people coming in off the street. And I'm here with Steve, the manager of Outreach Plus. Steve, can you tell me what happens when someone comes into one of the Outreach Plus rooms?
First of all, we'll bring them through at any time that the team can be out on the streets and find people day or night. They'll bring them through, settle them into a warm, clean room, place of safety. The outreach beds, rooms are all together, so they also have a separate bathroom. So it's not overwhelming for the individual. We'll then allow them to settle, usually make them a hot drink, but show them where they can access hot drinks, offer them some hot food if we can, and then we'll arrange to meet with them the following day to then complete paperwork and do an assessment for them, so we can then consider where, in conjunction with them, the best next move for them is.
And what might that next move be?
Potentially we could be reconnecting someone who comes from a different area and wants to go back to that area, but usually we will then contact local services for them so that they're not just going back to rough sleep in another town. It could be being referred into the sanctuary emergency accommodation beds if they have they meet the relevant criteria. And some of them could be directly over into MCISS, etc. at the YMCA, dependent on their needs. So we have various options so that we can help people. And some of them, it may be that they need to stay in that bed for a little while we do some work with them or do some more investigation.
Can you tell me how the Haven helps people in a very practical way?
Okay, so we're open Monday to Friday, 8:30 to 10:30. We provide a hot breakfast, so that's different every day. We're really lucky to have a volunteer. Every day is a different breakfast, and we're able to offer showers. So if somebody presents, they've been out on the streets all night, they're cold and dirty, we're able to offer a hot shower. We can provide a clean set of clothes, and we'll offer to take in their laundry.
So when you first meet someone here at the Haven, what do you do? How do you help them? What happens?
So initially we need to register a person, and that can feel a little bit unfriendly, so we just sit and chat over a coffee, but first we'll try and get their name. So a name and just a date of birth would be the basic information that we would work with. We'd talk about the situation they're facing currently, whether that's they've left a relationship, they've been in prison, and try and work out what they need. We'd try and understand whether there were any mental health issues, whether they needed support around that. We would touch on drug and alcohol addiction. When they first present at the Haven, it's the most desperate time ever. They might move into the sanctuary after a short amount of time, but they will come back, and I can think of a specific service user who regularly comes back just to check in and let us know that he's okay. And we love that because we want to know that they've moved on and they're being supported elsewhere. Even years later, people pop in or drop in a note to say thank you for the time that they felt supported whilst they were with New Hope. It's really good.
People then move on quite quickly from emergency accommodation. And so we asked Sarah to tell us what people might be feeling as they prepare to move on.
I think people feel a variety of things really. We hope that during their time here they really get a sense of some stability and they're able to sort of get to the point where they're ready to move on to something else. So there can be a big mix of emotions. It can be quite nerve-wracking for people to move into accommodation that they don't know that much about. They might be quite anxious, but often they're really happy to be taking that sort of next step, whether it's maybe recovery services within New Hope or other options kind of outside of New Hope. They're often very thankful for the support that they've had here and really excited about this next step for them. But yeah, it can be a real big mix of emotions, and often they're sad to leave some of the friends and the staff that they've got to know whilst they've been here.
And when someone moves on, so they've achieved abstinence, they're moving on to the next stage, what might they be feeling and experiencing then? What's the transformation that you see?
Transformation in themselves is absolutely brilliant. You can see that probably a couple of weeks, 3 weeks down the line from when they first joined. Again, when they're moving on, again, it's a bit fearful for them because they're going out on their own. They're going into a new place on their own. But you can see how motivated and how happy they are because they've finally, got themselves on track, built their self-esteem, building up their confidence, and they're going out to do this.
I'm now with Lee, the support worker for Cultivate. Lee, can you tell me a little bit about the work of Cultivate and the impact it has on people?
Yes, well, we called our service Cultivate because we wanted to put over the idea of cultivating hope and cultivating opportunities for people. So when people enter New Hope, we aim to get to know them, build up trusting relationships with them so that we can be with them in whatever service they're in. We can move between the New Hope services. We can offer emotional support, practical support like going with people to appointments. We can offer horticultural therapy sessions. We can offer nature-based sessions, walks in parks, activities like top golf, going to the board games cafe. We try and find out what people want to do and then work with that.
And what about the impact on people? What have people said to you about some of the sessions?
Well, people have said it's really relaxing to be able to get out of their head for a moment and do something with others. People really appreciate connections and closeness with others, so it's good to foster a sense of community, going out within the recovery services, everybody going out together. They feel motivated to start their day with a better mindset. So generally that's how we like to help people, really, just seeing what they want to do and helping them access that.
So how would you, can you describe to me how TST helps its service users? We've looked a little bit at the needs and challenges. How are people supported?
We support them at the beginning when they're in temporary with, say, setting up for housing benefit, because it is different to UC, and then sort of supporting them through temporary, because that can be quite stressful, especially if they've come there because they've been evicted or they're fleeing domestic violence or something, and it's quite stressful for them, especially some of the families. There could be families that are under child protection, so they've had to move for various reasons, so we support them through that, because that's the mental health side, because it's stressful. They're in panic mode. It's really difficult for them. And then going forward, when they move to their new accommodation, if they've never had their own accommodation, it's helping them set up their utility bills. Do they need a TV licence or not? And things like that. Because the properties are empty, we support and apply for grants as soon as we can so that they can get the white goods and anything else they may need. So, as well as the benefits and liaising with the job centre or sending emails for them, so that supports them to speak to different people within the gas, the electric, Three Rivers, the housing association, because things have gone wrong and they don't really know where to turn, or somebody will ask something and they get really stressed. So we're their advocate as well as, and working with them and alongside them to learn to live independently.
That's amazing, thank you. I'm here in our Watford shop with Polly, our wonderful manager who's a volunteer here. Polly, can you tell me a little bit about the shop and how it brings light to people?
Well, we feel personally that people don't just come here for shopping for goods, but they also come because they know that it's a place where love and care is shown.
And as a chaplain, how do you bring light into dark places?
I think one of the key things that I do is I go and I am a listening ear. So I'll go in and talk to people, and I'm always very open of who a chaplain is and what my role is. I often ask people, do you know what a chaplain is, to start off with? I always want to bring in the good news of Jesus and the fact that he can bring peace, that he can help heal the trauma. And I often find music is also a good way. So for one particular guy, we've used music as a way of connecting again with something that he enjoys, and that will bring conversation out of that as well. So yeah, I think, but for me particularly, it's the good news of Jesus and what he's done for people, and the fact that he accepts and loves each person.